Okay, welcome back to the channel. ProNoobRC, Keith, Jesse behind the camera. Tonight's project is a 1/10 scale ATV. We picked this guy up years ago off the eBay. We had intentions of building this guy into a 1/10 scale ATV, but the RC trucks at the time just weren't wide enough, long enough, the right layout, the right design to make it work. So it just kind of sat there waiting for today. So today we are going to be stripping down one of our most favorite micro crawlers, if that's good English or not, but our most favorite micro crawler, the AXIAL SCX24. This is a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon edition in yellow, most hated color by me. I don't really hate it, but I don't like yellow. Really nice trucks, beautiful little layout. We chopped the top off this one and we shoved an interior from a deadbolt in there. And we were gonna finish it up and detail it and fill the gaps and make it look good. But then I was sitting there thinking one day, cleaning out one of the storage rooms, I came across the old Suzuki Vinson toy, that they're almost the same wheelbase. The space between the inside is enough to fit the axial frame because now it's a lot narrower than the trucks in the past. We were talking like the Lossy Trail Trekker and such like that, which is more like a monster truck chassis. If you know those chassis, they have a high flat panel. They're TVP with a high section with a drop in the middle like a monster truck would have. So they were just crap. Like they were junk. So a lot of guys like them. You know, we do have a couple. They don't crawl. We use them for drifting, basically. Put a 10,000 kV brushless 3S lipo on them and just send them all over the house or a blast that way. So anyway, enough talking about garbage. Start talking about some good trucks. Yeah, basically this guy here, from our C10 build, we have the leftover wheels and tires. These wheels look a lot more like the quad wheel, so we're gonna pop those on there. And the tires here are almost the same size tires that were on here. A little bit smaller than the trail grapplers that come on the Rubicon. So these are the C10 tire, that's a trail grappler. So we're gonna be using C10 tire on here with that chassis. Time to get this thing apart. 0.050. Everybody always asks, if you buy one of these, buy a good one. Don't buy it off Harbor Freight. I got nothing wrong with them, but I see tons of people on the Facebook group saying, you're lying, that is the wrong screw driver. It's not, trust me. You just have a crappy one. There's 2 screws on the truck, 0.5 and T6. T6 is for the front servo. You can get it at Mastercraft or in one of those multi little 100-piece screwdriver sets. They're always in there, so. Okay, body's off. We're gonna pop the front bumper off, get the rear off. We need to shorten the links on the rear. We did the math on the truck. We need to shorten the wheelbase. Well, hang on, we'll show you how we did the math. It's probably wrong, but no.
Math.
See? Math. You know, if we leave those big tires on there, we don't have to really shorten it at all, but it just won't turn. So, we got our crappy, colorful, beat-up plastic caliper. Now, this guy's just a generic one. He's been broken and put back together, so he's not, you know, the be-all, end-all. But, so, we have better ones, that's all I'm trying to say. Make sure your wheel's straight, measure it from nut to nut.
Yeah.
That's how you get your wheelbase of your vehicle. It's from your axle nut to your axle nut. So we're at 133 millimeters. This guy, bring him in. Center on center. We're at 113 millimeters. So that is 20. Sorry, we do use metric. It's a lot easier for building small stuff like this. It's a lot easier to deal with 10 to 10 for 20 and data when you're transferring the, if you're shorting on both ends and stuff like that. So, yeah, so we have these rear links from the deadbolt. You have upper, lower, and upper and lower. And these are from the deadbolt front, I believe. No, deadbolt rear? Or deadbolt front. Yeah. Anyway, we got these lengths. We're not sure where they came from, but they're both 10 millimeters shorter, top or each one, which equates to the length in the back that we need to shorten up. Okay, so now we got it down to a slider chassis, as the kids like to call it nowadays. I just say that because I had to ask what the kids are talking about when they're talking about sliders. I was like, what is this? These other kids are 40 years old too, but you know what I'm saying. We're all kids. So we're going to need to shorten up this rear drive shaft while we're in here. He's going to need to come down the equivalent of 10 millimeters too. Yeah, we can't get over how much we love these little crawlers. They are awesome. They're even nice to work on. They're little C-channel chassis and, you know, proper like what you're used to seeing on the full size, just scaled down. And the fact that they function, that's huge, right? Sure, we all bought a barrage at one time and went through that. I don't know, how many did I buy? Complete garbage. My dog was eating cat litter, and then he felt like going upstairs. I'm in trouble. You heard me. I'm gonna punish myself. I was a bad boy.
That's super crunchy.
Okay. Get a tiny little rear axle out of there. So you need to take these ball ends out. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. One end is a little bit bigger, one end smaller. You need to push from the small end to the big side. Out. Best way to do that is find a driver, like your 0.5, that fits through the hole in the middle. Try to push it out. There you go. When I'm looking at these there before I put them together, I'm making sure I'm putting the captured side in, so no matter what, the rod cannot pop off the ball. You know it shouldn't, it's a bloody micro. If you're doing that stuff, send us a link. I want to see some carnage. Okay, short links installed. Now we need to clip this dry shaft 10 millimeters shorter. That's done. We took 10 millimeters off of it with our trusty razor saw. If you don't have one of these, you're not hobbying correctly. They're very cheap, and they save your fingers, they save your hobby, they save your projects. Might even save your life one day. It saved my life, bro. It is a pretty healthy blade on there. You could get out of a wet paper bag with that pretty quick. Clean this up with our trusty X-Acto X-Life number 11 blades. These are not entry-level blades at all. You will take your damn finger off with them. They are crazy sharp. I didn't realize I was doing it the wrong way for years. What? What? Okay. Splines only run so long. Okay, it looks like we're gonna shorten both ends of the shaft. We'll have to move the rear shock towers because the shock choops and all that. Hoops gotta go, so we'll move that all in. But let's just get it mocked up for now here. Dope. Okay, so there is our rig in short form. Let's put these smaller tires, just huck them on the wheels with no hardware, just so we could do a roll up and See what she's gonna look like sitting next to the target vehicle. Well, I'd say that's about perfect. Gives us a little bit more space on the wheel wells, where we're not going to touch under steering. Because if you look at this unit, if it was to steer, it would just clear. With us having a slightly bigger tire, it's going to touch. So now we're stretch out wheelbase just a little bit more. Just a little bit. So we're going to be bang on. We're going to split that up right in the middle, 50-50. We're done with the donor vehicle. Put that to the side. Now we're going to start with the Vinson. Let's talk about this little guy for a second. He's a 1/12 scale Suzuki Vinson Auto 500 4x4 camo ATV. Jesse will be putting the link to this dude in the title. He is still available on Amazon for a total of $30 Canadian. So if you live in anywhere else in the world besides Canada, it might be free. Or like $5. So yeah, get your hands on one of these. They're pretty dope. Only if this works out. So it comes with a little gun case with a rifle inside of it. Pretty cool. Can't get it in. Bow and arrow on the front with arrows so you can shoot around the trees. They got that nice tree shooting curve. Woo wee! Fancy. Some old loose string bow. Yeah, so that's probably just going to go right into the acetone container for slurry. Basically, to pull this chassis out, it is 4 screws. Now, we're not going to 3D print any parts for this. We're just going to do this all with parts that you can get your hands on from the store, because we know not everybody has a 3D printer. It's not really fair to kind of jump into that for all your modifications. So there we go. Quad bike motor chassis out. Ooh, look at that. Next build. Yeah, so just to start, we're going to leave it in the stock trim just to get it going like that. We do want to just have it scale looking, and it does look very nice scale. Usually I would hit it with a flat clear coat, kind of knock it down, and it actually brings out the realism a little bit more to do that, as we've showed you in other videos. But for the simplicity of right now, we're just going to leave this guy the way he sits. I'm going to take off the front bumper. Actually, you know what? I can leave it on for right now. Let's just start. Let's just go like this. Okay, we got to take the front bumper off. There will be some trimming and cutting involved. It's pretty rubbery, so I can get that over in the front. Done. Send it. Let's go.
All right, peace out.
Where's the batteries? Woo! Okay, so as you can see in the little clip Jesse's going to show you, the wheelbase we did. We tried to cheat it with only 10 mil, but we got to get that 20 mil out. So we used what links we had in the back. It's not perfect. The clock's a little bit off on the rear, but it's not crazy where it's binding and it's not going to become an issue. So we're going to run it like that. But we do need the front, bring the front back. We're going to use the links from the deadbolt. The deadbolt has a shorter front setup and a longer rear setup out of the box. The Jeep is more 50-50 balanced. So we're going to steal the front links, and that's going to bring us back an additional 10 millimeters. So that should, well, yeah, that should get us right back to where we want to be. So at the same time, we are going to upgrade the servo to the Emax ES08MA2. It's a little Metal Gear servo. Is that English? I don't know.
Those are English.
Yeah. We also will need to change the dry shaft to the small piece. That sucks doing that, by the way. Yeah. Would you look at that? Okay, so we just found out the difference also in the Wrangler is the this front piece here. It's lower and more pushed back. Okay, start with the easy stuff. Swapping these links over and shortening the dry shaft, or swapping the dry shaft end. Change the dry shafts, you have to open up said ball end and fit this rotating universal into it and get one of the shafts to lock in. As you roll this around, you'll see that it gets caught. One of these is always longer than the other, so that's the side you want to hold it on and then start by
Success.
one of my least favorite things to do. When Jesse and I first started rock crawling, when Axial was new, their dry shafts were the same as these, just in 10 scale, and complete garbage. Like every day you'd be popping those off, running zip ties and pieces of tubing over them to keep the stupid things on. Luckily, the first mods people started doing were good dry shafts, so that was cool. I think MIP is the first upgrade I bought. Well, we're in here, we're going to change out that servo. I think I just said this 2 minutes ago, but now we're doing it. This is the stock one's okay, but as soon as you upgrade the tires or add a little more weight with like this body on it, the servo saver starts to do its job a little too well. You just can't get the power to the wheels nice and cleanly. So we're actually going to transfer this servo in to be the servo that turns the handlebars on the bike. The Emax servo is a little bit fatter. You can buy a 3D printed servo tray from Mod Shop 19, the guy that does our Micro Shark chassis. Or you can also just open up these side parts just a little bit. Now the servo is not going to fit all the way down in here for depth, but you can get it sitting fairly decent. Whoop, whoop. Now, as you've seen in the other video where we mounted our Savic servos, we just put a little bit of shoe goo on the bottom. So we're just going to put a little bit of shoe goo on the bottom, and then we're going to use 2 of the screws just to retain it in place. Normally we would have ordered the servo mount from Mod Shop 19, but we're doing another Micro Shark build right away, and we just rather save it till then. And this way we can save money. We're trying to do this with things you can use around the house if you know, go out to your hobby shop and grab them. Okay, so the Emax is installed. Clip the back corners, a little bit of shoe glue on the bottom. You can see that you can run your stock screws in. It just stretches the ear a little bit on there. You just want to make sure you have her in nice and straight. You can line it up with the back plate. They're very nice little servos, and I got 4 of these for $20 Canadian, so that's like $5 anywhere else in the world. This radio tray is a little bit different than the deadbolt. We stole the front links from the deadbolt, as we just showed you there earlier. So now this might interfere in the way. If that's the case, this big old motor ESC combo will just have to move somewhere forward and sideways across there. But let's start fitting it together so we can find out and quit just talking about it and see if it fits. Oh hell no, Jesse. Okay, Jesse reminded me, actually, we do have the top plate in stock from the deadbolt that we did do the build on. So, the Micro Shark deadbolt. So we're just going to swap out this low center gravity top plate and put that one in, because it now give us the right shock alignment for the shock hoops and the spacing we need back to clear the servo. So, So as you can probably tell, if you want to do this mod cheaper, it's better to start with a deadbolt. I'd recommend using a deadbolt because then you get the whole front end and then you just need to change the rear end. Okay, so now we know this is going to fit because we put the deadbolt front radio tray in and deadbolt links and deadbolt drive shaft halves. Trick is getting all this jibby jabby to line back up here. With a little ass drive shaft. And you want to make sure you clock the drive shaft. And clocking the drive shaft is making sure that it's at the right pitch each other. You don't want them all willy-nilly. It's actually called phasing the. It fell out. Oh my god! I gotta put these small ones in first. Like, it's too much to handle in the front. The rear is no problem because it gets some depth in there, but it just sits in. Top of its ears off. Just gonna clip the top of the servo horns off above the frame like that, because I know from past experience when this servo wants to articulate through the frame, those are getting a little catchy on places. So, but like with these front short links like that. Not much room for articulation in there, so. Moment of truth, small tires. Let's see how this little piglet looks. If she's gonna be a win or a sin. There we go. Good looking track width. Good looking wheelbase. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. I think once we cut the frame in the back and move those shocks in, so it's just the axle hanging back there with the shocks kind of running down to it, it's gonna look right on point. Very easy to mount the body. It looks like I can just run a couple screws right through the bottom of the footwells and that's it, man, done. We do need to fit our electronics package into that, and we are gonna put, if there's room, a servo for the steering. So we need to make this guy fit somewhere else. Well, it pretty much has our plan. Everything's gonna fit where we want. Unfortunately, we have to make the sacrifice on having the steering handlebars. We'd really like to have that, but at this point, we're doing this build based off of something you guys could do at home with a $25 body and a few other, you know, $15, $20 worth of deadbolt parts and a SCX24 deadbolt. Yeah, we're gonna have to. The only way to make that happen would be to deconstruct the box, decase the box, take the board out, take these clips off, solder the motor directly, make a connector lead for the battery, hide this board on the bottom of the plate underneath, and then run everything into it, and then put the servo there. We can go back and do that one on another build or do this build down the road, but we just want to get this one together as is and start doing some wheeling with the little quad. So we're going to get that double-sided taped on and get back at her. It's just narrower between them.
Or if we get a different pack. Battery pack, I don't know. A 6024 load, isn't it?
These reservoirs are getting caught underneath the frame. Well, we also did lift the back of the quad by moving those shock towers there quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to just get rid of this, move that guy in. Yeah, that's what has to happen. This guy has to go, this guy has to move in, battery rides in the front, and we put the shock towers back on the back to bring the back of the bike back down. Bob drove. Okay, so trial and error. I'm sure Jesse will cut this up and make it real quick so you don't have to sit here and watch all these movements we're doing here. But we're going to take out this tray. We're going to move the ESC to the back. We're going to put the battery up in the front and move the ESC to the back. That will save us a bit of room, a bit of space. We're going to take out the rear battery tray, and we're going to put the rear shock towers back in. We need like just a little bit more with where we're going to put this box on an angle without decasing it. Normally I just decase the damn thing, but I'm trying to make this simple as we can. We can just shoe glue it into place shortly, but I do need to get these corners pushed back just a little bit. So we're going to just hack at it with the file here for a little bit. Welcome back, Jesse here, Keith over there. We're working on our little micro four-wheeler ATV build here with the toy we picked up off Amazon or eBay or whatever it was. Jesse's gonna post a link to it. It's I think 30 bucks right now, so real easy to build. If you're gonna do it with a deadbolt. It's easier to do it with a deadbolt and shorten the rear end than it was to take a Jeep, turn it into a deadbolt, and then shorten the rear end. So in hindsight, do it with a deadbolt. You'll save yourself some money. Go out, get yourself one of these 300 mAh batteries by Venom. It is a flight pack for the also popular E-Flite UMX aircraft. We got a whole bunch of them. They're a lot of fun. Really fun. Amazing fun. Great. One of some of their best aircrafts. You can fly them anywhere. Just love them. So much fun. But yeah, we got a ton of these batteries. It's a lot smaller than this battery, and it's only 50 mAh difference. So, yeah, and I think this one's actually a higher C rating too. So this is just a better battery all around, and it fits the bike really nice in the front. Tuck it in there, no problem. Only thing left we really have to do to kick this project off is change the end of the connectors from the JST to the JST-XH, I think they call it, or HX or something. So yeah, basically, I need to go to my tickle trunk, find another one of these plugs so I can plug it in permanently, make a loop to the back here so I can put my plugs there, or my battery in the front, and I only need to, I could probably even get the balance plug to pull out one of the side holes on the engine when I want to balance it, because the main goal is once you get it on, we want to leave it. For mounting solution, there's a couple screws right here on the side of the chassis, and this cutout on this footwell here. When you stretch it over the frame, it kind of, because it's about 2 millimeters wider, narrower. When you stretch it over, it will hook under this side, and then I drilled 2 holes here. The one hole in the back sits over the rear screw hole, and the one hole in the front, you put the screw that holds the skid plate back on. And because the frame sits against the top of the body in the front, and the battery sits against the inside of the fuel tank, it's pretty stable. So yeah, once the body's mounted on the chassis, we've looked at all types of different ways of using a little bit of like aluminum strapping across the bottom or something like that to mount it to the skid plates. It's all kind of just janky. So far, so good. It works. I can pick it up and shake it around. It doesn't fall off. It's, you know, guys use magnets to put their bodies on, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna fly. It is just for looks. It is a novelty RC. We're not gonna go out and try to win any competitions with this little bugger. It's just for fun, right? Drive it up in the back of the trucks, take some photos, flex. Okay, so we took a dig in the tickle trunk, our box of 20 years of electronics, and we found this old, new, I don't know, 5mm LED, 5mm? Yeah, 5mm LED light. I don't know, looks like it's never used. Only assuming it's a color or clear, not sure. But it's exact same wire. I think they're called JST-XH or something along that lines. If you know, throw it in the comments before. Share with the community so we can get that figured out. Every time I look it up, I come up, like go to order them, I come up with all different names for them. So I'm a bit lost on it, but. So yeah, we're just gonna pretty much cut this guy off here. I have some other ends of the JST connector, so I don't need to damage this battery. And I can put another connector here and then run that back to the battery here so I can unplug it. Okay, so Jesse and I just whipped up this little connector from the JST to, I believe, the JST-XH. Please correct me in the comments. And yeah, so that'll plug right in. Boop. and we'll have the juice. Body goes on with one screw. I'm gonna find a longer screw to replace this one, so I can actually get two. I can hook it over that one and then put one in to secure it and make like a double combo. That one, I backed it out a little bit. Let's see if she grabs. It's so hard to see. And this is the screw that holds it in, and then it hooks over the screws on the other side. So yeah, let's give it a test. Okay. Unit goes like so. Dump that pack of parts on the floor. We're going to set up the servo, make sure the rate is on, and it's neutral or 0 on your steering channel. Plug in our little battery connector. Straighten up that servo. Man, it's pretty close to 90, actually. I like that. Everybody's kind of getting their doo-doo together, eh?
Duties.
Dutus Maximus. We'll dial that in with this old steering trim. Turn down the drive rate so we don't cause a servo fire under the hood. Oh, because it's a, I'm like, why does that thing got so much power? It's an upgraded servo, though. Even the servo, I'm at like 50%, and it's still. Yeah, I'm out.
Backing it up.
Yeah, back there, so. Okay, so we stretch it over the screws on this side as discussed. Pop it into that one hole. It already sits right there. And we just take one of our screws and secure it in. Look at that, perfectly lined up. Awesome wheelbase. We could use a little bit of spring in the rear. She's a little soft in the butt. We did have to move the shock location in, so that is something we're gonna have to mess with. But
we got different shocks we could, or different springs we can use in the back.
Yes. Well, it's pretty much end of the build. Our ramps are a little bit short for the lifted Raptor, but it's four-wheel drive, so we're up in, look at that, beauty. Offload, fun day at the beach. Oh my god. Everybody go home. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty happy with that little build right there, yes. We weren't sure what we were gonna do with the yellow JLU. I'm pretty sure that's a pretty dope result. Don't care who you are. I think you know what time it is. Scratch your Raptor time. Yeah, so we'll get a little video of this guy tromping around out in the dirt pile later on down the road. We're gonna throw some lights in it, but we gotta 3D print some new headlight buckets since they painted over these ones from the Amazon toy warehouse? I don't know. Wherever it's from. One thing we noticed, that battery that we put in, it was a Venom 300 mAh battery. It's got a lot of... It's got a lot more spank to it than the Horizon Hobby battery that were coming with these trucks, so... we're gonna switch out over all our batteries to these ones now. Yeah, we're gonna switch them over to those and kind of move forward. They have a higher C rating, so when you give her, the power is definitely there. Like, we did nothing to this thing, and it's way faster than it was. This also looks better. So yeah, there you go. Let's get a shot in the back of the truck. Bam. ProNoob Raptor, loaded for bear, ready to go.